Welcome to Ghostly.
Does Benjamin Franklin's ghost exist? Ghostly is a podcast that
Whoa, wait a second, Rebecca. What are you doing? That's my part.
No, I thought that I was doing that now.
No, you did it one episode, okay? This is my part.
Okay.
Ghostly is a podcast that comes out every other week. In each episode, we take a ghost story or paranormal event and look into its complete history. Rebecca then gives us evidence proving that the story is real. And my job is to debate those pieces of evidence and get you, the listener, prepared to vote on if it's real or not. If you haven't yet, please hit that subscribe button. And as always, we're your host. I'm Pat, and that's Rebecca.
Hey, everybody.
Hey. We are back after our fun opposites episode.
Opposite day.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was definitely different.
I wonder how many people it caught off guard.
Yeah, I don't know. It caught me off guard.
And I wonder how long it took people to know that it was the opposite.
To realize, hey, wait a minute.
This is not the usual.
Something's different.
So this is a very special episode, Rebecca. I'm sure you're aware. Because it was chosen by the listeners.
Yay.
Yeah. I love doing these episodes because we can never tell what we're going to be talking about.
No, this is definitely like okay, guess we'll find out.
And then we have to hurry up and do the research. But this is an episode that I've wanted to do for a long time, actually. It's about a great American that helped us win the revolution. Would you agree with that?
Oh, absolutely.
I am not sure we would have won it without him.
Yeah, for sure.
So not only that, but he made several important inventions and is one of the people that helped draft the Declaration of Independence.
Yes.
We, of course, are talking about Benjamin Franklin in this episode.
Benjamin Franklin, one out.
Yeah. Now, I will say this will have to be a condensed history because there is so much. Man, such a fascinating, freaky guy.
Just so many, like just one of those Renaissance men that just did everything.
I will say he was very, very eccentric.
Eccentric, yes.
Eccentric.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was very much that.
Yeah.
And we're not going to get into too much about that in the history.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, there's some scandalous parts of the Benjamin Franklin story. But I would just say, he actually wrote an autobiography that you can read. He didn't finish. Well, obviously.
How do you finish that?
Yeah, I don't know. But
like I died on this day.
But it is pretty interesting. And of course, there are many, many, many wonderful biographies out there on Benjamin Franklin that you can check out. I can't even pick one.
Okay.
Other than I've read at least two.
I know that there's a lot of audio books too about it. So if you're more into the audio thing like I am, you can definitely check out some Audible stuff.
You got it.
We used to be sponsored by Audible. We're not any longer, so I'm not going to promote anything like that. So yeah, we do have some listener shout outs. There are two ways to get a shout out on Ghostly. The first way is to give us a review on Apple Podcast. We always prefer those 5-star reviews, but we will read any and all reviews that we receive. And the second way is to become a member on Patreon. Just go to ghostlypodcast.com and click on Patreon in the menu bar. And we have a few different tiers to choose from.
Yeah.
I mean, they're pretty affordable.
Yeah, definitely.
And you can get extra Ghostly delivered on a weekly basis.
Yeah. In fact, you may have noticed if you're a subscriber that last week.
Yes.
You got an episode when you weren't expecting.
Yeah. We just put out a preview.
We did. We put out an episode of Ghostly X that we actually released on the Patreon feed.
Yeah.
A few weeks ago.
Yeah.
But we recorded it with in mind to release it as an episode for you all to listen to because we just love Tony.
Yeah, Tony is the best.
So much. So if you haven't listened to that, what are you waiting for? Go listen.
Yeah, right.
Tony,
it's free.
Yeah, it's free. And Tony Zabolowski is our favorite paranormal investigator / tour guide guy. Like he's amazing.
And he's just an all-around great guy, too. I mean, he's very friendly, and he's very honest.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah. He will tell you.
Yeah.
He's like, no, I don't know any stories about that one.
Exactly. Yeah. So we did get a new member to Patreon, and that was Aaron.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Aaron.
Thank you, Aaron. I really appreciate it. And also, we got a very interesting review on Apple Podcast.
Yeah.
Now, it's I love ghost and spooky stuff. 5-star review, so I love it. You know, this is from Creeper Felix B. He said, I found out about this podcast when I did a paint job for their new studio. Very interesting content. Thanks again for Bachelor's Grove Cemetery info. That place definitely has a presence. And then with a ghost emoji. So, yeah, maybe the cat's out of the bag then.
I was just going to say, I think we got a reveal of something that we haven't announced on regular Ghostly yet.
Yeah, we did on Ghostly X.
Yeah.
So yeah, we are working on making a new studio. We're not really making anything. It is a room in Rebecca's house. Currently, we are recording in her dining room. And, you know, it just, Ghostly deserves more than that. So we're getting some paint, getting some furniture put in there, and we're going to have a place where we might even be able to do some video episodes.
Yeah, we're so excited for this. It's going to be great to have a dedicated Ghostly space.
Although I am nervous, you know, people see my ugly mug, you know.
I was going to say, like, I don't know if anyone really needs to see me, but we could at least have some visuals then. So I suppose that's nice. Anyways, lots of fun things. And actually, one of the things, and I apologize to all the Ghostly X listeners, I am behind on doing Rebecca's creepy bedtime story, but I'm hoping with this new studio that I can do some really good creepy bedtime stories with some pictures and
I think you can.
Some fun things. So
absolutely.
Anyways, definitely check us out on Patreon, and thank you for our new Patreon and our review.
All right.
So I've got a listener mail. We're actually going to finish our UFO story.
Oh, good.
From the last episode.
That was really creepy.
That was so creepy. Yeah. So just a little bit more with Ta here, or Jason. In the months and years that followed, just as a recap, right? So he was standing there and there were like weird or they were driving home, saw weird lights. He was standing, watching the weird lights, and then basically like lost an hour of time. Like somehow he was gone and his roommate couldn't find him.
Yeah.
So go back if you haven't listened to our Roswell episode for the first half of this one, because it's super creepy. All right. In the months and years that followed, I researched things like ball lightning and other uncommon but fully natural phenomena like that. The UFO was definitely not like any natural thing that I could find. I looked into electrical transformer malfunctions that can cause strange lights. Again, the UFO was not at all like that. I've never seen anything like it, and I've been looking for things to match against it ever since. My roommate saw it. I saw it. Nobody else seemed to see it, which is just full tilt weird. It may or may not be related, but during the week that followed, we would come home to find all of the kitchen cabinets and drawers wide open. What? Of course, I suspected my roommate, neighbors, or other friends of trying to mess with me, but after tracking all that down, there wasn't any plausible way it could have been them. I left in the morning with my roommate. He was with me all day at work, and nobody else had keys to our place. I had a cat at the time. I expected my cat to be freaked out or show signs of distress if someone or something was messing around our apartment. Nope. The cat seemed oblivious to all of this. By the second week, the strangeness stopped. I never suffered any ailment or felt anything amiss for supposedly having disappeared for an hour. Other than the freaky question of it, life went on as normal. And that was that. I still don't know what to make of this. I've seen similar lights in the sky above me twice since then, both in the early 2000s, but not further ensuing UFOs. Well, I think the lights might have been UFOs, but we'll see. For a time, I suspected the strange colored lights behind the clouds to be intra-cloud lightning, but I've since seen what such lightning looks like, and the strange colored lights associated with the UFO experience are not like that. Back then and over the years, I would talk it over with my roommate at the time. He is equally befuddled by it all, but has as clear a memory of it as I do, even though our otherwise shared experiences have that hour lost break in continuity. What to make of this? Can't say honestly. What I can say is that I'm alive, in one piece, and living a relatively normal life otherwise. But the question remains, what was all that? I feel fortunate that lacking the answer is no obstacle to carrying on in life. It may as well have never happened, really, right?
Wow. Well, again, I want to thank you so much, Ta, for sending that in to us. Man, your stories are just really, really good. And if you have a story, we would love to read it on here. Notice that I don't debate the ghost stories at all.
He lets me just read them.
The listener mail is non-debatable.
Unless you specifically request it.
Yeah, yeah. Anyways, but we definitely want to hear yours. You can email us at info@ghostlypodcast.com or use the contact us form right on ghostlypodcast.com. Or one of our favorite ways is to get actual physical mail. And you would send that into P.O. Box number 264, Geneva, Illinois, 60134. You're not going to remember any of that. Just look at the bottom of ghostlypodcast.com in the footer, and it's right there.
Absolutely. We can't wait to read them. All right. So next is, of course, the polls.
Oh, my God. This is going to be horrible.
Well,
so I'm the yes in this one,
I was
which
just going
is
to
really
say,
weird.
we have to think about this because remember, everything was topsy-turvy last episode. So in our last episode, we talked about Roswell, New Mexico. So yes means that aliens did land in Roswell, right?
And that means that
And that means Pat.
Well, no. Not
wins.
aliens landed, that there was a UFO that crashed.
There was a UFO that crashed in Roswell, whereas no means there was not, and that means I win.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, my God.
I am actually very surprised.
Okay.
Because this says yes, 61.5%.
Whoa.
And no, 38.5%.
Whoa.
Now, I saw the votes coming in. I might call foul play on this one because I don't remember seeing that many yeses.
Well, you know where you can go to check.
on our website?
No.
Oh, no, not our website.
We use Airtable for our polls.
Yeah,
so
we do get them
check
updated online eventually, but okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to check that.
Do it.
All right.
So, and the overall rating, people can now vote on how haunted they believe something is or how likely it is that a UFO crashed, 1 being not at all likely, and 10 being the most likely. And it got a 5.
Okay.
5.
So in the middle. All right. Yeah. Well, okay. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to have to, I will research this and we'll come back to it after the break. How about that? I don't want to take up time during our episode here. All right. I've got a ghost story for our episode today. So let's go into that.
It's time for a spooky tale from Rebecca.
Last night was a wild night. My friends and I decided we needed a night out. Work and life have just been a lot lately, and we thought maybe we'd get out on the town here in Philly. I say this to say that we may have had a few drinks when we saw what we saw, but I still stand by it. We had been out to dinner and then went to a local bar. We had fun, laughed, and then decided that we should go dancing. Not our usual routine lately, but we were having such a great time. As we made it out to the street, we noticed a small crowd of people cheering someone on while they were dancing. So we went to check it out. This guy was good. We decided it must be some dare because he was dressed in a toga and really going at the dancing. After a few minutes, he started to dance away. Like, not walking, dancing. People were laughing and started to move on to where they were going, but I kept looking at him. I realized that it was hard to really see what he looked like. He was a little older than I thought at first. I started to think that Despite the toga, he almost looked like some sort of reenactor. When you live in Philadelphia, that's really not that unusual of a sight. Then I saw his glasses, those iconic glasses we all recognize. It was like as my mind was focusing on him, the more details appeared. Then he just faded away into the night. I couldn't believe what I had just seen, so I turned around and saw my two friends just standing there talking. I asked, "Did you see that?" "See what?" "The dancer. He disappeared." They just laughed and told me he just went around the corner, and I must have been drinking more than I thought. But I told them, I know what I saw. I saw Benjamin Franklin dancing in a toga before he faded away. I saw his ghost.
All right. I got to say, that's probably one of the funniest ghost stories that you've ever read. Picturing Benjamin Franklin dancing in a toga.
Listen, I may write the stories, but they are based on things that people say.
Yeah,
so.
which I am pretty sure that Benjamin Franklin did dance in a toga.
That's very possible.
I'm pretty sure
he was a
did.
very fun guy.
Again, I'm not going to really talk about too much about that because a lot of that is speculation too. A lot of that is.
I mean, some of it's not, but yes, some of it is.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so we're going to take a quick break. Oh, how much of that did you make up?
I mean, I made it into a story, but that is what people claim.
Wow.
Essentially. So we'll talk about it.
In Philadelphia.
Yep.
All right. So we're going to take a quick break. And when we return, we will get to the Pat Facts.
Pat Facts.
Oh, hey there, Count Panic. I got a question for you.
What's that, Bob?
What do you know about Mothman, the Loch Ness Monster, ghosts, demons, and things that go bump in the night?
Not much, Bob.
Well, lucky for you, we host a podcast called Bob After Dark where we talk about legends, lore, and the supernatural.
Wow. Where can I find this podcast?
Wherever you find your great podcasts at.
Pat's Facts. From a skeptic point of view. Pat's Facts. He presents it all to you. Pat's Facts. Facts.
All right. We are back with the history. The Pat Facts are sponsored by Tarot by Ta.
Ta is a professional tarot card reader with over 20 years of experience.
He reads at numerous public events, private parties, and personal appointments throughout the greater Chicagoland area.
He also does his readings worldwide using online services like Zoom.
And as always, the best part is that he's hashtag Team Skeptic.
Oh, goodness. No, that's good.
To find out more about Ta, visit and like his Facebook page at facebook.com/tarot by Ta. He also writes amazing stories for us now.
Well, he also has had really creepy experiences. Let's say
he
that.
Has. He definitely has.
He brings the alien tech with him when he does your reading. That's what I'm thinking. That's why he's so good.
Yeah, I don't know. But you know what? I've talked to people that have had readings by him, and they swear by it.
There you go.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm just saying. So Rebecca, did you have a chance to look into the votes?
I did. Geez, I can't believe it. Yeah, he got him right.
Oh, and you called me out.
I did because I mean, I swear when I was watching him come in, it didn't seem like there were more yeses, but. All right.
I just think that you wanted to see.
I wanted
the
to,
nose, yeah.
yes.
So what do you think now about Roswell?
Yeah, no, sorry.
What do you think about UFOs, though?
I mean, I feel like we've learned that there are such things as UFOs, but that doesn't necessarily, like the government has said as much, but we don't know that they're alien.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to get into the Pat Facts about Benjamin Franklin. Now, Benjamin Franklin was born in Boston on January 17th, 1706. So he was first generation on his father's side to be born here.
Right. But at that point, he was English, just born here.
Yeah, exactly. Yep, absolutely. His father was Josiah Franklin, who was from England and was a candle and soap maker.
Mm-hmm.
So let me just say, Benjamin Franklin didn't start off with a ton of money.
Yeah, definitely came from, working middle class.
Yeah, I mean, people didn't bathe that much, so they didn't have need for soap. Benjamin's father married twice and had just 17 children.
Oh, just 17.
Yeah, I mean, that's the reason why our population has gone so high is 17 children. Man. Benjamin's mother was Josiah's second wife, Abiah Folger, and she was from Nantucket.
Okay.
And Benjamin was the 8th of 10 children from the happy couple.
Oh, I mean, hats off to you, Abiah.
Yeah.
Like, that's, okay.
Abiah, that's a very interesting name.
It is. I have not heard that one. I like it.
Josiah and Abiah, they sound like they are...
from old time New England.
Yeah. Yeah, they do. They definitely do.
Pilgrims, I don't know. Like, they just definitely sound like they, come from that time and place.
So Benjamin had a very limited education, though, which surprised me when I looked into this. I thought he was a very well-educated person. He dropped out at the age of 10.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But he had a thirst for knowledge and would read whatever he could. So much so that he was able to teach himself to be a skilled writer.
Yeah, he was very, very smart, very quick to learn.
Yeah, and, people used him for his writings, too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously, Declaration of Independence, he was part of that.
Mm-hmm.
So, at the age of 12, he was apprenticed to his older brother, James, who was a Boston printer.
Mm-hmm.
James sounds like a perfectly normal name, not a Josiah or anything. I mean, if you're Josiah, I'm so sorry. I don't mean to make fun of your name. By the age of 16, Benjamin was contributing essays under the pseudonym Silence Dogood.
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm.
Have you ever heard that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. To a newspaper published by his brother. And at the age of 17, Benjamin ran away from his apprenticeship to Philadelphia, where he found work as a printer.
Yeah, I think we'll notice throughout this, just like today, learning a trade can be a really great thing that can let you move around and do a lot of different things.
Yeah.
For him back then, learning to be a printer enabled him to do a lot. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
It gave him a lot of access to things.
Mm-hmm.
In late 1724, he traveled to London, England, and again found employment in the printing business. Benjamin returned to Philadelphia in 1726 and 2 years later opened a printing shop. The business became highly successful, producing a range of materials including government pamphlets, books, and currency. In 1729, Benjamin became the owner and publisher of a colonial newspaper, the Pennsylvania Gazette, which proved popular and to which he contributed much of the content, often using more pseudonyms.
Which is funny. This is very Benjamin Franklin, where he's like, here's a newspaper. I'm just going to start a newspaper and I'm going to write most of the content. I'll just pretend that I'm different, writers.
Yeah, exactly.
And no one will know. And they'll just
and he really
newspaper.
did. He really did. He took on different characters and stuff too. Yeah,
yep.
Really, truly. But Benjamin really found much of his early success with Poor Richard's Almanack, and he published it every year from 1733 to 1758.
Yes, very popular.
Those are worth a lot of money if anybody has any.
Oh, well, yeah, something from 1740. Yes, yeah, definitely.
The Almanack became known for its witty sayings, which often had to do with the importance of diligence and frugality. Such as early to bed and early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and
wise.
Yep, absolutely. In 1730, Benjamin began living with Deborah Reed, the daughter of his former Philadelphia landlady, and she started living there as his common-law wife. Reed's first husband had abandoned her. However, due to bigamy laws, she and Franklin could not have an official wedding ceremony.
Mm-hmm.
Benjamin and Reed had a son, Francis Folger Franklin. That's a lot of F's.
It is.
Who died of smallpox at the age of 4. Sorry. And a daughter, Sarah Franklin Bach. Franklin had another son, William Franklin, who was born out of wedlock.
To Francis or somebody else?
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, that is the question there, right?
Yeah.
But while in Philadelphia, Benjamin became active in civic affairs. He established a number of community organizations, including a lending library when books were not widely available in the colonies.
Hey, so what does that mean? Does that mean that he started the first library?
It does not mean he started the first library. There were libraries before that, but he did start one. And it was actually a pretty established library until 1850, which the American Library Association came out in 1846, I believe.
Okay.
So, yeah.
There you go.
You might want to look that up for me just to be sure.
Okay.
Because I work there and I should know that. So he also started the first Philadelphia Fire Company, a police patrol, and the American Philosophical Society, which was a group devoted to science and other scholarly pursuits.
Wow.
Benjamin also organized the Pennsylvania militia, raised funds to build a city hospital, and spearheaded a program to pave and light city streets.
Wow.
All this, and he was also creation of the Academy of Philadelphia, which was a college which opened in 1751 and became known as the University of Philadelphia in 1791.
Okay, so first of all, the American Library Association was September of 1853.
I was so close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're saying he started the first, like what? Well, not, I mean, when I say first, I mean first, like in the area, in the colonies.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
mean in the world.
There was none then. It was really hard for them to get books.
Yeah. So library, you said fire house,
Police station.
police station.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the
American
gosh.
Philosophical Society, hospital,
Helped start the first college in the area.
program to pave and light city streets. Yeah, he did so much, this guy. I mean, I'm telling you.
Right.
I mean, there's some bad things in his history, too, that I'm not going to go into. But there was some bad things.
Personal.
Yeah. But, I mean, the thing was, he did a lot.
Yeah.
He did a lot. He had to have had, like, ADHD or something like that.
Something. Yes.
I swear. I mean, this guy, he jumped around so much, and it's so different, the things that he did.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
His printing business did so well that it allowed him to retire and live off of the money that he made there.
Mm-hmm.
So he took on yet another passion, and the one that he's most famous for is an inventor.
Yes.
And also a little bit of politics in there, too.
Oh, definitely.
In 1740, he conducted experiments that contributed to the understanding of electricity and invented the lightning rod, which protected buildings from fires caused by lightning.
Which we still use today.
Yeah, absolutely. And in 1752, he conducted his famous kite experiment and demonstrated that lightning is electricity. Now, here's the thing. He did not invent electricity. No. But he proved that that lightning was electricity.
Yeah.
Which seems like duh.
Right.
But back then, they did not know.
No, they didn't.
And that was his idea that it was, and nobody was able to prove it or disprove it until he came around. Benjamin also coined a number of electricity-related terms, including battery, charger, and conductor, still used today.
Still used.
He developed the Franklin stove, which provided more heat while using less fuel than other stoves.
Huge, just game changer for homes, for people.
And also, he made bifocal eyeglasses.
Yeah.
Which allow for distance and reading use. So those are the glasses that you see him wearing. Those are like some of the first bifocals.
Yeah. So you don't have to have two different pairs of glasses all the time.
Absolutely. In 1754, at a meeting of the colonial representatives in Albany, New York, Benjamin proposed a plan for uniting the colonies under a national congress. Although his Albany Plan was rejected, it helped lay the groundwork for the Articles of Confederation, which became the first Constitution of the United States when ratified in 1781.
All right.
In 1757, Benjamin traveled to London. He was there to help work on a tax dispute that the colonists were having with England.
Oh, really? There was
Yeah.
a tax dispute with England.
Exactly.
I
And
hear you
he's,
say.
he was born in Boston too. I don't know. He ended up moving to London until 1775. This was very interesting time for both the colonies and England.
I would say so.
I don't know if you heard, but there was this little war thing that happened. The British government wanted to impose a series of regulatory measures to assert greater control over the colonies.
Mm-hmm.
Benjamin returned to Philadelphia in May of 1775, shortly after the Revolutionary War had begun, and was selected to serve as a delegate to the Second Continental Congress, America's governing body at the time.
Mm-hmm.
In 1776, he was part of the 5-member committee that helped draft the Declaration of Independence, in which the 13 American colonies declared their freedom from British rule. That same year, Congress sent Benjamin to France to enlist that nation's help with the Revolutionary War. So this is why I'm saying, if it wasn't for him,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if we would have won that, because in February 1778, the French signed a military alliance with America and went on to provide soldiers, supplies, and money that proved critical to America's victory in the war. Now, I will say, France and England always had little spats.
Yes.
And they hated each other.
Yes.
But they did not want to come over here to fight them.
No, and also too, I mean, France had colonies, so it's not like they want to like spread the idea of
Yeah.
revolution necessarily.
But somehow
Benjamin
was able to,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Franklin did that, and John Adams was also over there for some of that time, but
He was,
it was
yeah.
definitely Franklin that really
Well-
knew the culture, knew the players, had spent time over there.
John Adams was a bit too conservative for the French liking.
Yeah.
And Benjamin, with his crazy toga dancing,
It fit right in.
they loved him.
Yeah.
They really did. In 1785, Benjamin left France and returned once again to Philadelphia. In 1787, he became the oldest member of the Constitutional Convention. He was 81. So that was
Yeah.
pretty old for those days.
Mm-hmm. Not even today.
In the convention, he urged the delegates to support the new Constitution. That was ratified by 9 states in June of 1788.
Mm-hmm.
That's our current Constitution.
Yeah.
Benjamin died shortly after at the age of 84 on April 17th, 1790 in Philadelphia, following a funeral that was attended by an estimated 20,000 people. Now, given that we just watched the Queen's funeral, that's nothing compared to that.
Sure.
But I mean, transportation-wise and everything like that, these are only the people that were living in Philadelphia that would go to that, or
Right.
maybe some high-ranking officials would
Mhm.
travel by train to go to it.
Right.
I don't even know
Still,
if there was
quite a
the
few.
train.
I mean, 20,000 people back then. There were not a lot of people, colonists, I should say,
No.
that were there. And so, yeah, that actually seems like quite a lot of people.
It was a lot of people. I mean, but it's just comparative to what we just went through. It
Sure.
seems like such a small number, but I just want to say that it probably wasn't 10 days long either. So,
Yeah.
He was buried in Philadelphia's Christ Church Cemetery. In his will, he left money to Boston and Philadelphia, which was later used to establish a trade school and a science museum and fund scholarships and other community projects. All in all, more than 200 years after his death, Benjamin remains one of the most celebrated figures in U.S. history. His image appears on the $100 bill, and towns, schools, and businesses across America are named for him.
Yeah. I mean, I was thinking about it. Like, I mean, maybe it's just the nature of the name, but like, so it's Benjamin Franklin. But if I say Ben Franklin, totally fine.
Yeah.
Like, we can call him by his nickname. Like, that's how much we love this man.
Yeah, old
and
Ben.
Old Ben. And like we all know him. We know a lot of his stories.
Yep.
You know, I think some of it too, you know, he
Obi-Wan Kenobi. That's who. No, just kidding.
is, you know, he was such an instrumental part in not just American history, but also, like you said, all the
Science.
inventions and science, but also, you know, getting, you know, our country modernized with, you know, fire departments and, you know, all of these
And
different
paved
things.
streets and
Postal
street
office.
lights.
We didn't even get into that. Like,
Oh, yeah.
it's like there's just, again, read a biography or watch. I think Ken Burns just came out with Franklin as a movie, but so much. It's so cool. He just, I mean, again, he, you know, in his personal life, he wasn't always the most up and up with the ladies or just different people, but he wasn't bad. And he wasn't, or he was, I don't know.
Some would say he was a ladies' man too.
Yes, I would say that. There you go.
Yeah.
That's a way to say it.
Not like womanizer. Is that
Yeah.
what you're thinking?
Well, but he really did love
Loved all women.
He loved all women, but he did have some that he really did love.
Yeah.
And he, you know, he loved France. I mean, he stayed there. I mean, obviously to help America, but you know, he was there for like 10 years.
Yeah.
I mean, plus he had been there before then, so he was worldly.
And he stayed in London for a long time too.
Yeah, he was the most famous American in his lifetime
At that time. Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, even more famous than George Washington.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he definitely was because he was so world known.
And people had been reading his almanac, and they had, you know, I mean, just all of that for so long that, yeah, he was easily the most famous American in the world, and as well as here in his lifetime.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I just love that he was a man of science, you know?
Yeah.
He believed in science and he sought out scientific answers for things like we should do with ghosts.
I was just going to say, that doesn't mean he didn't believe in ghosts. I don't know.
I wonder if he did.
I wonder if he did. Yeah, I'm sure he was open-minded to it.
Maybe we should do a seance and ask him. Yeah.
All right.
All right. So, well, that's the Pat Facts.
Pat Facts.
I guess we should take a break and then end this episode then, right?
No, it's time for why we're all actually here, which is the ghost stories.
I thought we were all here for the history.
No, I mean, this was a fun history and obviously just the highlights for him, but no, we have ghost stories.
Can you find us a picture of Ben Franklin in a toga dancing?
Well, I'm certainly going to include a picture of Ben Franklin in a toga. That's going to happen.
All right. Excellent.
In a way.
All right. So let's take a break and we will be right back with the debate.
Hey, listeners. Did you know there's a way to share with the world whether you're hashtag team believer or hashtag team skeptic? Or, for those who need it, hashtag team the middle? It's our store called Ghostly Gear.
Yep, and we even have custom ghostly designs like microclimate or even the Easter Island Massacre or of the Ghostly logo. Just visit our Ghostly Gear store right on ghostlypodcast.com to order your t-shirt, hoodie, mug, mask, whatever.
Okay. I think we got it. They just need to visit ghostlypodcast.com and click on Ghostly Gear to order right on the website and send us any ideas that you have for new merch.
Exactly. Order your merch today and send us a pic of you in your ghostly gear.
All right, we are back and it is time for a debate.
Time for a debate.
So we have learned all about Benjamin Franklin's history, and now let's hear about his history since his death. No, we've got a few ghost stories. So the most famous ghost story about Benjamin Franklin is about his statue outside of the Philosophical Society's library hall.
You know, there used to be another statue in Philadelphia of Rocky.
Oh.
And I don't think he haunts that.
Oh, I don't know. I haven't researched that, but probably not, I would say, since he's a fictional character.
And Sylvester Stallone is still alive.
Yeah, that too. All right. So he is wearing a toga in the statue.
Oh, of course.
Which looks really odd. I'm not going to lie. I will include a picture in the show notes. It's kind of like, it's not on the ground. It's like in an alcove in the building, like above the door, like high up. It's almost like a church kind of thing, even though it's not that. So I'm going to read a quote from Darcy Ort and her book, Haunted Philadelphia, Famous Phantom Sinister Sights and Lingering Legends. Quote, "What makes this statue of Franklin especially unique are the reports of it leaving its pedestal. Shortly after Franklin died, people reported seeing the statue walking the streets of Philadelphia. Some report seeing the statue making its way towards Franklin's house, as the real Franklin did on many occasions. Others report seeing the statue dancing or skipping along Philadelphia streets. There are even claims that it visits local pubs like City Tavern." And there are other sources with similar things, but I like that one the best.
Well, I mean, I would say that Benjamin Franklin dabbled in a lot of magic with a K, not with the C.
Okay.
And if anyone could, maybe it could be him, but it wasn't. I mean, a statue getting up and come on.
I don't know.
Okay.
People report seeing him, and because he was in a toga, they just assumed it was the statue.
Statues are usually made of things that don't allow them to just get up and walk away. So just
I don't know if
know.
it was the statue, but just his spirit.
Yeah,
coming
because
from it.
if it was the statue, I think people would be like, "Hey, where did the statue go?"
Well, I mean, that could be a question. We've had that issue before.
No, I'm sorry, Rebecca. This is just kind of out there. I am going to say that a lot of things that I think are happening here is Benjamin Franklin was a very famous American, and as so, I think that we have this want and desire to know these people personally. We've read so many stories about them. We want to know them personally. And I think this makes people want to see this. But also, I would say that there could be someone cosplaying as him.
Well, they started seeing this back in the 1800s or whatever. So
yeah, I think he was maybe one of the first people that were cosplayed. All right, I'm going to say no.
Oh, okay.
And I'm going to give it a 0.
A 0? What?
Yeah.
I'm going to give this one a 6.
A 6? Rebecca, it's a statue.
I know, but there's reports, so I have to go with it.
Okay.
All right. So next evidence. On her website, Hairpin, ghost investigator Kelly Cannaboy did some EMF research inside the building and outside, underneath the statue. When she was in the building, the readings were low, but when she was outside under the statue, she said they were off the charts high. However, she said she did not see it dancing.
Okay.
And she did go back several times to see if she could do it, but the EMFs were always really high.
I would love to see him dance, though. That'd be so cool. I wonder if he does modern dancing.
I would guess not.
Maybe he's got a TikTok.
He does a jig, I'm guessing.
Maybe he does a TikTok.
Well,
and maybe
he could make a TikTok dance.
Yeah. Okay, so EMFs, I have trouble with this because they pick up electronics in the area.
Mm-hmm.
So I do have trouble with it. Sometimes they can go off for various reasons. It doesn't necessarily mean that anything is going on there. And I don't know why we associate EMFs with ghost that much. So, I never really, EMFs don't really do anything for me. I've played with them. I've done stuff with them. We have.
Mm-hmm.
We did a investigation of Side Street Studio in Elgin, and we had EMFs, right?
Yes.
And I just don't really...
It was very clear to me where the ghosts were when we were using those.
Okay, because you totally believe in it.
Yep.
Why? What is the reason for that, though?
I mean, it's just because, again, for me, I feel like we can't always see spirits, but they come
But you can feel the
in a
electricity?
form of energy. Yeah.
You just
we
feel
don't
it?
understand. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to go 0 on this one.
I'm gonna go another 6 on this one.
Okay.
Like, there's some solid stuff there. All right, next, this is the other kind of more popular ghost story. This is actually, again, back to the 1800s. Supposedly, a cleaning woman at that Philosophical Society reported seeing his ghost wandering the halls and hurrying past her along the bookshelves. So she like felt something and looked, and it was Benjamin Franklin kind of like scurrying along the bookshelves.
Well, this is hard because there's no pictures or anything like that, especially, it's in the 1880s, so pictures were just really starting to be a thing that was done, and
Not a ghost hunting thing.
and it was probably...
Well, no, they were, but not like this.
Yeah, but I mean, like, you couldn't like take the equipment wasn't exactly portable.
Right, there you go.
So, I don't know. I don't believe it at all, but I'm going to have to give it a 1 because there's a lack of evidence with this particular piece of evidence that I would need to be able to validate things.
Yeah, I give this one a 7. Like, I could totally like see that he'd be a little more likely, I think, to him wandering the bookshelves rather than dancing. Just a little bit.
He did both of those things in life, though. I'll just say. All right.
All right. We have one more here. This last one is a little different. So there's a town in Philadelphia called Bensalem, or Bensalem is what it looks like to me. That's about 30 minutes outside of Philadelphia. And they claim that maybe Franklin conducted his kite experiment in their town at a place called Groden Mansion. So I don't know if that's true. Like, I couldn't really, like, sources will just say he did it in Philadelphia, but like, if it's just like a suburb 30 minutes outside of Philadelphia, like, I could see that still just being called Philadelphia. Anyways, so mainline paranormal investigators say that there are reported to be sightings of, quote, a man flying a kite, as well as, quote, battle noises around the trenches surrounding this property. And in his book, The Spirits of 76, Ghost Stories of the American Revolution, author Daniel Barefoot wrote, without question, quote, without question, the most famous resident ghost here is that of Benjamin Franklin. His ghost, kite in hand, has been sighted here.
All right. So if we go back to his kite experiment, so we have this idea that he flew the kite. He didn't fly it. It was tied. So that's how he would test it. He wouldn't just be like, oh, I felt electricity go through me, because it got struck by it.
Yeah.
So given that fact, I don't really think he's synonymous with kite flying.
Oh, he is, though, in like popular culture, I would say for sure. I mean, did you see the Scooby-Doo episode?
I did. Yeah.
Okay.
And so that makes me think that it's people's perception and not a real ghost. A ghost wouldn't reenact something that didn't actually happen.
Well, I'm sure he flew the kite and then he tied it to something. I mean, he had to get it in the air in the first place.
I don't know necessarily if he did or if he just tied it to something, waited for wind, and then I'm not exactly sure how that transpired there. But I don't even know if it happened in Grouden Mansion there. So I'm going to go 0 on this one. This one is just a bunch of gibbledy jabble. It is. It's like none of the things make sense in this whole thing. Jibbity jabble.
Okay, that's your vote.
Yeah.
I'm going to go 5 on this one. I'm a little less convinced with this one just because
what makes it less for you?
Because I couldn't even find proof that that's where he flew the kite. So it's like, well, I mean, maybe they some people think they saw this man, but like I don't know if it was a ghost or not. So, I'm a little less.
Can we just let him rest?
Listen,
let him rest in his toga.
All I know is that actually talking about all this makes me want to go fly kites. It's been a lot of years since I've done that.
It's about to rain.
Yeah, well, not like this second, but like sometime soon.
Yeah.
Though I don't own one, and I doubt that I'll go get one.
I will say kite flying has definitely dipped in its enthusiasm. Probably because there's no like open areas where, you could just run around with a kite.
There's also no TikTok.
There's no what?
TikTok
of kites.
Yeah. Like, I mean, it's just like for kids today, flying a kite, it's kind of boring compared to, their phone.
Although I did see Clerks 3 and there is a big kite reference there where they're bringing kites back.
All right. I mean, I say let's do it. It is fun every time. I mean, I've only done it a few times in my life. It wasn't like a regular thing for me as a kid or anything, but a few times I've done it, it's pretty fun.
I don't necessarily find it as much fun as I do work.
You do have to kind of run with it.
You have to run with it, and it doesn't always work.
No.
And it's like...
But it's exciting when it does.
And you have to plan out things a lot. It's a lot of work.
Yeah,
it's a lot of work.
Ben Franklin's ghost can do it.
But he can't.
Then we can do it.
He cannot do it.
I think he can.
All right. So what is your overall rating then?
So my overall rating is going to be a 6 for this one. I had a 7 and a 5, but mostly it was 6. So yeah, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me at all if this, historical figure who has done so much is still kind of walking around.
But it's not the idea, does it surprise you? Do you believe it?
Yeah.
You believe
Slightly, yeah. Like
Slightly.
I'm not a 10.
Okay.
But I do think so. Yeah, how about for you?
Overall, I'm going to have to go 0 because I did a couple of zeros and a 1 there. I did only 1. So, and the 1 was not a real solid one. It was based upon, there was just not enough information there to go by.
How many times can you say 1 in a sentence?
1. So that brings us to the closing arguments. This is our last chance to convince you to vote our way. We are each given 1 minute of uninterrupted time. We will time each other on our cell phones to keep each other honest, especially Rebecca. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right, let's go.
All right. So Benjamin Franklin is an icon, and he is somebody that, as we mentioned, one of the most famous people of all time, one of the most famous Americans, one of the most famous Philadelphians. He was always curious, always looking for the next big thing. And it just wouldn't surprise me at all if some part of his spirit is still here and wandering the library. Like, yeah, that's where he'd go. And you know what? Again, he was a fun person in life. So you know what? If it turns out he's out there dancing, like, again, doesn't surprise me. I think we haven't had too many recent sightings because as I think we've talked about, things dissipate maybe over time, but still there, still being seen. And I think he haunts Philadelphia.
All right. You had like 5 seconds left there, Rebecca.
Thank you.
That's one of the first times.
Mm-hmm. All right. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. Go.
Again, I think this is want and desire. We want there to be a Benjamin Franklin that we could reach out to and talk to. He seems like such an interesting guy, and our desire overtakes us, and we see things like this. Also, I think that there are people that really do cosplay as him. I really think that there are people that, especially in Philadelphia, would want to look like him. And I think that sometimes this is, I mean, look, as a bigger guy, there's not many things I can cosplay as. I can't cosplay as Thor unless I do chubby Thor. And so I could do Benjamin Franklin, though. I could totally do that. So that's where I'm going to go with this one. And that is it.
Okay. It sounded like you were saying, though, that just like people just like in like not cosplay, but just like in general are like, yeah, the Franklin look, that's what I go for.
We love the little round glasses too. John Lennon did those.
Well, that is true. That that is true.
So people are trying to look like Benjamin Franklin nowadays. I want to thank everyone so much for listening. Please share us with your friends and family, as word of mouth is our best advertisement. Remember, we don't take ourselves that serious when we do these debates. That is the reason why we're able to have these kind of debates. Don't take everything so serious. You know?
I mean, hopefully they aren't. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
It's just, it's all in fun and, and we can all think what we think and it's okay.
Absolutely. It is perfectly fine, whatever you believe, especially if you believe that it's not true at all. So I want to give a special shout out to our VIP patrons, which are, as I always say, our producers of this show. We talk about future episodes with them. We listen to what they have to say. We take their suggestions and we try to do episodes of those. So the first one is Alicia,
Carrie,
Becky,
Natalie,
Kim,
Ta,
Ernie,
Marisol,
Shayla,
Cindy,
Kevin,
Nicole,
Jessica,
Alice,
Austin,
Aaron,
Hope,
and Candy.
and this is our time right now. Okay, we're getting into the spooky season.
Spooky.
There is pumpkin spice latte everywhere,
Everywhere.
and that means it's time for all the ghostly.
All the ghosts.
So in the spooky season, we do an episode every single week, and we usually do some kind of theme to them.
Mm-hmm.
The month of October will all be about, drumroll please, Rebecca, haunted cemeteries.
Haunted cemeteries.
And we will start with a Chicago classic, Rebecca. We're going to do Graceland Cemetery, and it comes out on October 5th. Now, to be fair, we've already recorded this episode because it was a something that we did at Elgin Fringe Fest.
Yeah, it's a live recording. It was super fun. Everybody had a great time. We got a lot of votes, a lot of feedback, super fun. And we can't wait for you to hear it. And just the whole month is going to be super fun.
Yeah. Now, I will say that the polls are very difficult to do during when we do a weekly episode because it takes people a couple of weeks to vote, to listen and vote. So I'm going to leave all the polls open for the whole October, and we won't release the results until November.
Yeah, just, keep listening, keep voting, make sure you know which one you're voting on, and then we'll reveal all the results in November. That sounds like a good idea.
You could vote on ghostlypodcast.com/polls or just go to ghostlypodcast.com and click on polls in the menu bar.
Yeah.
It's that easy. We have a lot of spooky stuff coming up, though.
Oh, I mean, and there are some things. It's really exciting. And we're ready to celebrate this season with you.
If you had to sum up all of the haunted cemeteries that we're going to do with one word, what would that one word be?
Haunted.
Until next time, stay ghostly.
Bye.